Hello everybody, it's me, Hyperwars here, and welcome back to Rising Phoenix Racing League. We're here with not a duff stream this time, thank the Lord. It's only taken me one try this time. There's a fly buzzing around in my room and stuff I get, or something of that kind, something evil. Anyway, I'm just going to drop the link in the chat, and obviously you are here today in our multiplayer car league. Obviously this is the league with 4 teams battling it out together. So before we get underway, let me just go onto Twitter and let you know everything you need to know. Also, this bastard needs to fuck off out my room. I mean, I don't think I should, don't be swearing on this stream. But anyway. So, the results were released a few days ago. Anyway, in first is currently Career Enders. They're currently without their captain for this race. I've told everyone to ready up. Why are they not readying up? Swanee. Okay, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Everyone's waiting for Swanee. It's okay. So yeah, first is Career Enders, who got a total of 68 points from last race. With Anton, one of the few men who's actually here for their team, scoring a whopping 21 out of 22 points in his first race. He got pole at Bahrain. Not only that, but he also won the race. Sorry, not 22, he got 26. No, it's 22. 21 out of 20. Anyway, who's just said 20. Anyway, in second is the American Dream with 50 points. Their captain, LT Cobalt, very happy with what's happened recently. And the fact that he's now in second place, only 18 points behind. Unfortunately, without Conal, it could be another bad race for his team. In third is Forest Drive with 47 points. Tied with Stray Dog Racing. Now, Forest Drive without their captain and Sanka, which means the last 3 members will have to really rank up the points. Now, as there are only 14 drivers in the lobby today, it does mean that the points will not be awarded to drivers who did not show up, which means for your team, it is best that you turn up. Even if it's, just for them. Anyway, we've also had a new driver join us today. He is reserving for Forest Drive. And his name on here, if you can see it, is TKM King. So he's joining Forest Drive. Hopefully he's got the right livery on. If not, it's a bit unfortunate, but we'll have to sort that out for next race. See, I've only just got back from being out, unfortunately. So, hopefully he's got his kits. I've trusted the lobby hosting to someone else for once. Anyway, welcome to everyone in the chat today. Obviously, our multiplayer car league in its first season. Let's see how it gets on today. So we're in France, as there's not too many drivers. What? Oh, there we go. As there's not, over 17 drivers, we are having a shortened grid. A short quali, which means the race should be done pretty quickly. But you never know. Might give me more time this evening, but anyway, with no full quali, there is still a point for getting first. I remind you the point system is as follows: 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, etc, etc. The person who gets pole position gets an extra point for his team, which is technically like gaining another position in the race. And the person who gets fastest lap gets an extra point for their team. Again, like getting another position. So if you get pole and then end up spinning out first corner, end up right at the back, no chance of getting more points. then just go for it. Anyway, who are we going to watch today? You know what, we'll go watch Shadow Britton in his team's livery. Which I don't actually think that is that his team's livery? I will just check now. It's been a while since I've actually checked the team liveries here. Oh, yep, he's in Stray Dog Racing, and that is the correct team livery. Now let me just go check on King. And yes, he is also in the correct livery. So well done, King, for that one. Anyway, we'll go back to Shadow Britton, who's in the first man to take his flying lap. Obviously, it's all about the illustrious pole position here. You know, there's not a showdown for top 10 anymore. And, you know, getting through to the next quali session. This is one shot. You aim for pole. You also aim for a good lap. And this bugger just won't stop flying around. This is going to quite annoy me, but oh well. As Shadow Britton on the mediums, starting his lap. Shadow Britton, obviously one of the drivers in Rising Phoenix F2 in Season 4.5. And again, this bugger won't leave me alone. Give me a second, guys. I'm just going to open my window quick. Let him escape. Now I'm back. So a few drivers taking the hard tyres so far, a few on the softs, some on the mediums, so it's definitely a mixed bag in terms of strategy. However, obviously with France being a very, well, I wouldn't say complicated, but France is one of those tracks where you really want to, you know, be as competitive as possible. You want to be in the front. With two, well, I'd say one decent DRS zone and many overtaking points. France is one of those tracks where it doesn't matter too much if you're battling. However, if you're a fast runner, you want to be on pole. And you want to be able just to escape everyone else. Anyway, the first lap has been set by Shadow Britton. It's a 1:33.1. The next lap will come through from Colin with a 1:33.2. Rise had his lap invalidated. Cobalt halfway down his lap. Deadwood Bear also coming to the start finish line. Anton Bennett for 1:30.5. Willow for 1:37.9. Deadwood Bear 1:32.8. So quite a few laps here. King with 1:33.3. Cobalt still not finished his lap yet. Where's Too Funky at? So Too Funky quite close to the finish as well. I believe Flex Marcel is about to finish, start his lap, sorry. So Flex on a lap. Too Funky here is going to set at 1:31.3, putting himself on the front row of the grid at the moment. Obviously, things can change. It's Cobalt that's in the 1:32.4 on the mediums as well. Third place on mediums. It's a decent shout. It's with a slow car there. I don't know what's going on, but Flex has a purple first sector. This could be interesting. Rai, possible he could also go for a good lap here. We'll just have to wait and see. He's obviously on the soft tyres. It's going to be 1:34.5.3. Anyway, Swanee on an outlap. I'm going to go back to Flex Marcel. Currently the top two both on the softs. Everyone else on a mix of tyres here. Deadwood Bear looking the best at the moment on the hards. So we'll have to wait for Splinter to come out. I do believe he will be one of those to watch out for. Anyway. It doesn't. Driver standings don't really matter. It's all about the teams in this competition. Yeah, each driver who races for that certain team will be mentioned. It's all about turning up and really getting into a race, as Flex very, very close to Anton's lap there. That is unlucky. Willow doesn't improve on his lap. Colin, I believe, does. Yes, he does. Colin going 4 tenths quicker. So well on there to Colin. Beating Shadow Britain, in fact, and moving himself up into 6th place. T-Funky also won 31.3, which is an improvement on his 130... Oh, no, never mind. His last, that was 139. Oops. Anyway, Swanee's about to start his lap, so we'll watch the Flying Scotsman. I am a laddie. Everyone else currently in the pits at the moment. It's looking very overcast. I've not heard that there's any rain expected for this race. However, I'm sure if there is, someone would have moaned about it. Obviously, I don't really want it to be spoiled for me, but, you know, if there is rain, then why not just tell me? How do you join this league? Just message me, Hyperwars Kun, or message either Swanee2K15, LD Cobalt, or Deadwood Bear. You know, one of us 4 will get you in for next week. Or Bazooka Joe. Bazooka Joe's also a great lad to help ask, but, you know, if you want to talk to a German, and if you can speak German. Anyway. Swanee in the 3rd sector now. Looking pretty good so far on the softs. We'll see what lap time he can set. See, Funky did go for a 3rd lap, surprisingly, on those softs. And he's actually improved by a 10th. Doesn't move him up a position, but every 10th helps. Cobalt also set a 132.4. Oh, he's now on the softs. As Swanee puts an invalid lap in. We watched that all for an invalid lap. What a waste of time. Anyway, on to Bazooka Joe now. The German genius. Actually, no, let's not say that. Oh, Willow improved to 133 dead on. I think that top 10 boundary is going to be a 132.8. What Colin is on at the moment. As Bazooka Joe sits at 132.1 on the mediums. The best medium runner so far. As Nico's going to come through with a 133.5. I don't know who else just set a lap as well, but I know someone has just gone through. There's a few yellow flags here and there. Let's see if anyone else has improved on their lap time so far. Nobody looks like they have yet, but Splinter's going back into the pits. Swanee also doing the same, I believe. TKM King, or just King, now going on his lap. Shadow Britain also on a lap as well. However, Ting, 4 drive Forest Drive is the man we're going to look at for the rest of his lap. Running in hot lap at the moment though. Very interesting to see, because most drivers, whilst they do use hot lap, don't realise how much time it takes out of you on those straights. You know, overtake would be so much better to use, but that's my just personal opinion. As King of 132.2 on the mediums. Same speed as, well, around about the same speed as Bazooka Joe here. Bazooka Joe obviously going into the pits. Anton on a lap. Nico coming to the end of his lap. And so is Shadow. Shadow Britain is going to get a 132. Oh no, it's a 131.7. Oh, very nice indeed, as he will now slot behind T-Funky. Nico into the pits. King's obviously just finished his lap. Rai, I believe, hasn't got an invalid lap yet. I will just check. No, he has not. Oh, yeah, he has. Never mind. Ignore me. Ignore me. Who else is on our lap? Anton, about to finish his, and it's going to be a 1:30.4. That is pole again. Beating Flex. But we all know Flex can do better. We're just waiting to see it. A few drivers on outlaps at the moment. Oh. It's going to be interesting. Swanee's actually come back out again for another soft lap. So most drivers now choosing to go on the softs. A bold strategy, but it works. So might as well try it. At the moment, Swanee and Splinter, part of the American dream, both yet to set a lap. Could be very, very interesting to see which team ends up out on top. Okay, Colbo not on a lap. Shadow Britain also going into the pits. Deadwood Bear not on a lap. Rai is, however, I'm not unsure if it's invalidated or not. No, it's not, and it's a better first sector again. Rai been constantly improving that. We'll see if he improves his second sector. All he needs is a few attempts to go and beat Nico Rosberg. That's all he needs. A few attempts on that last lap. He's gained 4 and lost 1, so that's now up to 3. And wasn't invalidated for some reason. We'll keep an eye on everyone else. Deadwood Bear on a lap on the mediums. That should put him quite nicely up into the 131s. If he can just get it right. Rai though, trimming the corner nicely. You know, that was actually a half decent run. I think he went off for yeah, that's him going off at the back there. Did not help him at all. Anyway, Swanee has started his lap. So has Deadwood Bear. Oh no, Deadwood Bear's in the pits now. T-Funky also on a lap. Everyone will go to Swanee. Swanee's being followed very closely by T-Funky. With only 4 minutes and a bit to go. Swanee's really being pressured. Oh, he's going to let T-Funky through. T-Funky was able to use him for a hell of a lot of slipstream, which could mean that T-Funky has a possibility to go get pole here. It's a very, very high possibility that he can do that. Anyway. Oh, it's just wide. That's not going to help him or his lap at all. He's going to run out of ERS just here like most drivers do. Now he has to beat a 1:30.5 to even get second. As it's going to be a 1:31.4 and it's not an improvement on his time. So T-Funky does not improve. Rai also going for another lap as well. I don't believe this will be an improvement though. Yeah, again, it's not the best of laps from Rai. Splinter on his outlap like many other drivers are. Not really sure who to watch now, but I think Colin should be the man we put our attentions to. 1:32.8 at the moment. That time was set on the mediums. He's now going to the softs like most other drivers. And you know, most drivers coming out of the pits at this point. The only man currently staying in, well, the only few, Flex Marcel, Nico and Swanee. Oh, as a driver pulls off for Colin, but not in the best of places. Unsure who that was who pulled off. It was a guy from another team. And they gave him a bit of slipstream, however, you know, having to, you know, move out the way for them rather than them moving out the way for you. Not the best of feelings. Anyway, we'll go to Colin now, see if he's improved at all. And yes, it's a much better first and second sector. That's at least 7 tenths gained, and if he can gain just a few more in the last sector, Colin should be set to at least get into the low 132s, heck, even the 131s. Bazooka Joe has retired, which means he will be starting at the moment on the medium tyres, as Colin puts himself in 6th place, taking Bazooka Joe's spot very nicely indeed. Now I'll move on to Splinter, one of the men who hasn't set a lap yet. Now, we're just waiting to see if Cobalt improves to 130.9. Very good from him here. Apparently he hasn't had much practice at all at this track, as Splinter putting himself in 4th after a brilliant performance in the actual Rising Phoenix League. Now going into the Multiplayer Cars League and getting a result like that, that could be very, very good for him and his confidence. Cobalt has retired, and King is preparing himself for a lap. Bazooka Joe possibly could be out here. Deadwood Bear. Oh, Anton Bennett with a 130 dead on. Deadwood Bear's ended up in a wall. You know what? I feel that. Nico and Rai Rai both currently out. They can't come and set a lap. King has retired. Deadwood Bear also retired. Flex Marcel, he can't go to the end. He basically has to retire. Oh, too funky there. Going wide. Shadow Britton will be the last man to set a lap. Well, the last man to set a lap properly, but he stays sixth. Oh, he goes 6th. As Willow puts himself in 7th position. So the last 3 men on laps, and only one of them is actually on a lap, which is kind of ironic, really. Anyway, we're just waiting for Swanee. We think Anton may have pole here. What can Swanee set? It will be a 131 point... Oh, it's a 132 dead on, which only just puts him in 9th. Right in front of a medium runner of Bazooka Joe. Ooh, interesting. And Anton and Flex, instead of retiring, go into the pits. Please, lads, don't do this. Please, can you just retire, please? Please. Anton, please, retire. Don't be that guy. Anton. Please don't be that guy. Oh, he's that guy. Fuck. Oh well. Anyway, we'll tell you now the standings. So currently, Anton Bennett for Drive Forest Drive. Sorry, I mean Anton Bennett for Career Enders, currently in 1st place. Flex Marcel in 2nd, representing Drive Forest Drive. Cobalt in 3rd, obviously representing his own team, American Dream. Followed by Splinter in 4th, also the American Dream. Stray Good Racing having one stray dog here in 5th place. As anyway, we're about to head on to the race. Few drivers choosing the medium tyres here, so Willow and Bazooka Joe both will start on the mediums in the top 10. That's rather interesting. So Nico's team at the moment, career enders, looking like they're in good form at the moment. Unfortunately, Nico not in the top 10. However, one of his drivers, Anton, is currently on pole. That means they've already got 1 point secure. They're up to 69. Banter, I know. However, all 14 of these drivers can still earn points. Today, there is a max amount of points still. You can still at max get 22 points. However, the minimum is now, well, whether 14 would be. I'll have to work that out, but that's 6. If I work that out correctly. Oh no, it's 7. So 7 is the least amount of points anyone can get today. Apart from all the guys who are getting 0, zilch, nada, nothing. Anyway, the guys at the back all chose mediums apart from Rai. That does interest me. 2 team leaders in 12th and 13th. We'll see. One of them being replaced here by the man currently in 11th, actually. So TKM _ King. Anyway, we're just waiting for this race to start, really, aren't we? Track map obviously on. Everything's looking smooth so far, and we're about to get underway for 27 laps of France. So, yay us. After last week, you know, we had one incident that was debated, and we've decided all we did was give T-Funky a warning, which means no penalties are going to be served this race, meaning each driver has an equal chance to fight for points. And remember, every position is worth a hell of a lot more now. You know, it's not just worth what you think it is. It's worth more. It's worth everything. One position may just be 1 point. However, that 1 point is goddamn worth it in this championship. 5 red lights. Round number 2 of RPMP. And away we go. It's going to be a good little start. A lot of drivers going to go side by side. Anton defending off well. Cobalt getting up in position. Oh, Flex has decided that he's oh god, there's been a crash. There's been a crash with T-Funky and Cobalt. I don't know how the fuck T-Funky was even there. There's a dive going on from Willow. Oh my. See, every position is worth fighting for here. Oh, well, Colin, that's not where you should really be on these corners. I can tell you that for a fact. Right up a few positions as well, as Deadwood Bear's trying to overtake his teammate here. There he goes, past his teammate, and really that's more of a strategic overtake. Anyway, T-Funky and Cobalt, 2 men at the back. Pretty sure Cobalt's lost the left front of his wing. However, I cannot confirm that yet. Anyway, Anton leads, followed by Flex, then Splinter, then Shadow, which means all 4 teams in our top 4 at the moment. Swanee riding high in 5th. King in 6th. Swanee's lagging a little bit today. I don't know what's going on with him. Normally he has pretty good internet. It's either him lagging or King lagging. But Swanee, oh, taking a nice inside line there. Gives him less time to accelerate though, which means King will be on the back of him. Ryder can see this happening from a mile away. He's going to go to the outside. Swanee taking the inside line again. Oh, that's a push. That's a push, and King has been spun. Oh, into his teammates as well. Yikes. Hopefully King can get back from that. As Rai has actually been able to overtake Bazooka Joe, Deadwood Bear, and Nico here. Bazooka Joe now on Rai for 7th position. Bazooka Joe gets the move done. Is it complete? Oh, it's a tight little squeeze. Bazooka Joe's forced off wide. Not by Rai, but forced because of the way he took that corner. Deadwood Bear and Rai now both fighting each. Oh, Rai's off the track, slight between the two guys on the same team here. Now, Bazooka Joe does seem to be jolting around a little bit. Anton Bennett with the fastest lap of the race so far. Oh, Bazooka Joe's gone on the outside of Rai. And that is a position gained. Too Funky overtaking Colin, who's in the pits, along with King. Hopefully these guys aren't in the same pit garage. Oh, luckily they're not. Looks like King's going to be for a change to the soft tyres, as Nico's just been overtaken by LT Cobalt and has the engine glitch. That's fun. Splinter still in 3rd. Flex in 2nd, and Anton in 1st. Rai slightly back here on Bazooka Joe. He's going to have Cobalt trying to gain on him. Cobalt also has Nico right behind him too. It's a 3-team battle for 9th position. As I forget about the engines every time. And there's Colin and TKM. Both here. Currently 13th and 14th, but still able to get some points. Again, there's no point retiring from a race unless you are forced to. Because every position is worth a good chunk of points. Every driver knows this. Obviously, as we're on lap 3, DRS is enabled. So Splinter's now DRS here on Flex. Don't think it's going to make a move, so we're going to move back a little bit to LT Cobalt. Oh, never mind, Rara's gone into the pits. So he's going to have a look at Nico. He may be able to make a move on Cobalt. Oh, unfortunately not. There, looking back at the front. Splinter. Just on the back of Flex. He could make a move here very, very soon. This long straight does look like the perfect place to whip it into overtake and really get a move done. He's in rich. Flex has moved to the inside. He's going to defend that. However, it looks like Splinter may have this. Flex does take the inside. No, it's a spin. It's a spin for Flex. He comes back on, luckily in a safe position. Now behind Shadow Britain. That spin will put him back a little bit. However, I'm sure he can get back on Shadow and catch back up to Splinter. He's going to go for the inside line there. It's not going to really work as he rides the curb. We're going to keep our eyes on this battle because I think it could be a stonker. Swanee's on the back of Flex as well. Flex pretty is a bit shaken after that. You don't want to spin in a race. Anyway, Nico also closing in on opposite team captain Cobalt. Both of them really doing their best now. Flex Marcel obviously in the pits. few drivers still straggling behind, but Willow has now caught up. Willow and Deadwood have both caught up to Swanee. So they're going to want to get past the American Dream lad before they start storming with each other. I mean, actually, I think Deadwood may be looking at Willow with some very greedy eyes here. Is it going to be a Deadwood dive? Oh, it is, and Willow. Oh, Swanee's going to like that. If the teammates are fighting, he can continue staying in his place. T-Funky has overtaken Nico here. And now T-Funky is on the charge and looking at Cobalt. Stray Dog Racing, I believe, actually have most of their drivers here. Oh, Swanee seems to have been overtaken, unfortunately. But yeah, Stray Dog Racing have most of their drivers here today, so it means they can earn a hell of a lot of points. However, it depends if their drivers are up so fast as, oh, T-Funky and Cobalt. I don't know what happened to T-Funky, but Cobalt speeding in the pit lane. T-Funky just went very, very wide. Only 4 laps in and they're already pitting. I mean, is it wing damage? That is the question. Yep, Cobalt has wing damage. T-Funky's pit crew was not ready. So Flex is going to get the jump on them. So is Rai and possibly even Colin. Actually, heck, I think both of these guys may get the jump on them here. T-Funky out behind Cobalt. And it's probably going to be out behind Colin as well. As, yes it is, Colin covers off T-Funky. And TKM does the same as well. It's a smart bit of players, TKM, on the soft tyres. Deadwood there now, looking at third place. He's got his teammate in front of him. So obviously, these 3 guys from Stray Dog Racing, all looking pretty set at the moment. They're happy with their positions. You know, if Shadow gets overtaken by Deadwood Bear here, it won't be the end of the world. Because obviously Deadwood Bear and him share the team together, on the same team. Doesn't matter too much. You know, if Deadwood's faster, then Shadow should let him past. But Deadwood's going to make the move here anyway. Shadow into the pits. Willow may be pressured by Bazooka Joe and Swanee. Maybe just Bazooka Joe. But I don't think it will affect them too much. And you're looking back down the field, Cobalt's closing in on Rai as T-Funky's made his move past King. Oh, Rai's off. I think there may have been a tap there from Cobalt. But Rai now down to 11th. T-Funky's looking at Colin. Flex Marcel the fastest lap. And Willow's got a time penalty. Penalties will be very important this race, I can tell you that for a fact. T-Funky, 3 attempts down now on Colin. He's looking at Colin's rear wing, thinking, what else, that piece of garbage. But then again, have you seen their car? It's blimmin' green as T-Funky dives it in and actually makes it stick. You know what? I'm going to give respect where respect is due. That was a blimmin' good move. I respect that. Anyway, Bazooka Joe is closing in on Willow. Willow's just sticking behind Deadwood there, but if he gets that DRS activation point, oh, it's going to be tight. I'm not sure if Willow's got DRS. Colin does. Oh, Willow does. Willow, not Colin, Bazooka Joe. Willow is saved. Splinter in the pits for the hards. Swanee probably doing the same here. Anton just running his own race as well. Oh, don't tell me. Don't tell me Swanee's got the same pit garage as Splinter. But Splinter's going to be out. Flex is going to be in front of Swanee. Shadow Brisson as well. I don't think Cobalt will be there though, as TKM's down the back of Rai and gets the move done on the hard tyres. Willow versus Bazooka again. Yeah, if Joe maybe used a little bit more ERS rather than saving it, he probably could have got that move done. But there's been a yellow flag in Sector 1. I don't know who it is. It's Rai. Ooh, Rai's got down. I think there might be a little bit of damage on his wing. I'm not too sure though. Can't confirm yet. Bazooka Joe. Oh, Willow. Very, very close to making contact there. So these guys are probably going to stay out a little bit longer now. Anton with a 5-second penalty for speed in the pits. That's going to come into play a hell of a lot. Bazooka Joe now taking a wider line. He's going to get a longer time to accelerate. Not using any ERS laser. He's staying here. He's not fighting it at the moment. Anton's going to be out with Nico, I believe. As we'll see here, yeah. Nico's going to have to watch out for it. Ooh. Swerves out the way. Splinter. I think he's got closer, you know. I think Splinter has got closer. Flex only 4 seconds behind. And Anton's already got past Nico, so Nico's will let him through there. Which means Deadwood Bear has to make a gap. He has to pull away if he wants this. Hey, don't worry, Button. Oh, Bazooka Joe's going to take the inside. Willow on the outside. This could be Bazooka Joe's chance. He's whipped up into overtake. Willow's going for the inside line. Bazooka Joe going back down on the ERS. Actually playing this very smart, Bazooka Joe. I've realised that whilst watching him. You know, I've never really looked at his ERS display with too much detail, but Bazooka Joe's really playing it sensible. He doesn't want to play it too risky, but also doesn't want to lose that DRS, which is really, really helping him here. Again, this is a team game. He's playing it to win for this team. And nobody else is really in a battle at the moment. But as you can see, Bazooka Joe did just look for a move there. Didn't make it. Didn't finish it. But that's okay. Can confirm Rai didn't get damage earlier. There's a few gaps starting to form though. We're on lap 10. I might remind you, if a driver gets disqualified, so if they get too many penalties, they will be out. They'll be disqualified from this race, and they won't get any points. Even if they got pole, that pole will go to second place. As Bazooka Joe has finally got the move on Willow. But yeah, so technically if Anton had got 10 3-second time penalties, which I think is how many you can get at max, not sure, then he's gone. He's lost pole. Second place gets his point, and if he gets fastest lap, second fastest lap gets it, and he'll be completely disqualified, sorry, from the session. Anyways, Bazooka Joe now does seem to have gained a big gap. He's really used this chance well for him. Splinter's got past Nico. Nico's going to want to get that position back. Now Flex Marcel's behind the two of them, and it doesn't look like Nico will be able to do that. Guys on mediums have gone 10 laps so far. If they're planning to pit in, I think they've already done it. You can go medium, soft, soft. That is a strat. And possibly they could do it now. But it depends on what those front drivers believe is best. Or they could just try medium to soft. Wouldn't recommend it, but it's a possibility. I mean, nobody's really in a battle at the moment. King has caught up to Colin though. Colin's probably starting to feel the pressure now. Nico's losing time to Splinter. Flex slightly gaining on Nico. Not much else happening though. King is within 4/10 of Colin though. Meanwhile, Bazooka Joe going into the pits. Deadwood Bear staying out for a little longer. Willow with a 5-second penalty for speed in the pits, again going to affect him and his team. Anton's going to move up to second position now. Don't know what Bazooka Joe and Willow plan to go on. Bazooka Joe onto the hards. Willow, his pit crew isn't even out. Oh my. He's got a wing change as well. He's onto the hards too. Bazooka Joe will be out behind Swanee here. And possibly even Cobalt? Maybe? Ah, yes he is, unfortunately. Oh, that's Willow behind Cobalt, sorry. Bazooka Joe just beat Swanee. Now, out of those pit exits, only the guys on the softs and possibly a few on the mediums will need to pit again. 15 laps left to go. Over half the race done so far. Nico and Edward, the only guys yet to stop. As we can see by stops. As for position changes, Deadwood and Nico up the most. However, down the most has been T-Funky. So T-Funky not having the best of races so far. Anyway, Willow is closing in on Cobalt. Coming out the pits, he's got fresh tyres and he can use them. We'll move up a little bit as we can see Flex pressuring Nico. Move back down because I actually think Willow may push for this move on Cobalt first. I think Nico may go in the pits this lap. Deadwood Bear onto the hards. Oh no, Nico's staying out. So Deadwood's going to be overtaken by Splinter. We're going to see Nico here being pressured by Flex. Flex definitely has another stop to do. Always wheel to wheel. Flex, however, gets the position done. Oh, and Shadow Brisson as well. Getting it done on his own teammate. As Willow's just got past Cobalt. They're going to go side by side here. Cobalt looks like he may have wing damage here. That exit was really poor from Cobalt. I'm not sure what's going on. See, I don't want to comment on drivers, like how they drive, as you know, I'm not them. But that's just my common opinion. Deadwood Bears really overtaken Shadow Brisson. And now hopefully King and Colin can use each other to boost up positions. And then moving up the field, Cobalt still on the back of his man, and Nico's there on Flex. Flex has got the move done, but Nico's really putting that pressure on. My man is like Tottenham Hotspur, can't get a win, but can put the pressure on. And putting the pressure on, he is. Oh no, he's just going into the pits with Flex. Anyway, Deadwood Bear will now take third position, followed by Shadow Brisson in fourth. Bazooka Joe will end up fifth. Swanee into the pits as well, along with Cobalt. So a lot of people pitting, as well as T-Funky. Colin staying out, so a lot of these guys who are pitting now will be fighting King on the restart. Well, they're coming out the pits, as in restart. And in fact, the only person who was really able to win that was Flex. who ended up just in front of King. Nico has 2 men now between him and Flex Marcel. Too Funky and Cobalt still in the pits. Rai is now going to be able to get some DRS on someone. Oh no, he's a few seconds behind. Anyway, Nico's 2 tenths behind Colin here. His engine problems have been sorted out. See Colin on 11 lap old mediums. Nico on 3. On fresh, sorry, tyres. The Canadian has got the Englishman in his sights. Anton with another fastest lap. Jesus. Have a Swanee, T-Funky, Cobalt all going to the end here on their tyres. I mean, so is Nico, but he can't go medium to medium, so. Oh, Colin goes wide and Nico takes full advantage. The 2 of them go side by side. The commentator versus the Colinator. The Colinator. That was the best joke I've ever made. Nico gets the position though. Colin will probably have to pit again. Possibly onto the softs. He looks for the inside move, does not get to make it. Cobalt closing in just slightly on Too Funky. He could get a move within the next few laps. However, at this point in the race though, it must be said that Anton looks like the guy who could take this win. Well, who clearly could take this win. Bazooka Joe also on, possibly getting onto the back of Shadow Britton here. See, Shadow's tyres will be quite worn very, very soon. So Bazooka Joe could get another free position. As Colin is now refighting Nico here. These 2 going hammer and tong with each other. Just hear the sound of that multiplayer car engine roar. And what else can I say? Like, I don't even know what kind of engine they have. It's just a multiplayer car. Nico goes deep, but unfortunately for Colin, he just wasn't there to be able to capitalise on it. Meanwhile, Flex Marcel with the fastest lap of this race so far. He's trying to close in on Willow. Meanwhile, Bazooka Joe just trying to make that gap ever so slightly smaller on Shadow. Because if he can get DRS on Shadow, it will force Shadow to push. And by doing that, it hopefully should get the 2 of them up towards Deadwood Bear. Which again will help Bazooka Joe and his team. Looking at the time gaps at the moment, Colin does look as if he can catch up to Nico again. He may not be in DRS range, but he's still able to do so. Too Funky has kind of kept that 5 seconds of Swanee going for quite a while. Just needs to pick up the pace a little bit to be able to get 11th position off him. Ooh, Shadow going slightly wide there. Did give Bazooka Joe a bit of a gain, however not too much. Unfortunately, nobody's really in a second gap of each other. They're all just over. As Flex Marcel has just got fastest lap yet again. Eat your heart out, Flex. He is just flexing on the rest of the field. I need to stop. Anyway, Colin now 1.6 seconds behind Nico. But as we can see, Shadow's tyres compared to Deadwood's, definitely going off. Colin has been able to gain up a hell of a lot more this first sector, and now most of the second sector. Shadow's losing time to Deadwood there by a race of knots. It's gone down to 2 seconds already. Right into the pits. Onto the softs to the end of the race. Most probably. He'll also push fast slap if he tries. Anyway, Bazooka Joe just over a second out. It's going to be very, very tight here. I honestly don't think it's in. No, it's not. Oh, poor Bazooka Joe. If he just pushed that little bit more, he could have got Shadow there. And there's no doubt though, he's going to have it very, very soon. There is no doubt in my mind. Right, T-Funky has gained 1.5 seconds since I last mentioned him. So, hopefully with that, he should be able to close in on the Swan Dog. Meanwhile, King goes into the pits after his hard stint. Possibly onto the softs. Yes, he is going for the softs, which means he can push the fastest lap. He is going to lose out to Funky and to Cobalt as well, which means he's got to push now. He has really got to push. Bazooka Joe also has DRS, and he's been using that down that back straight as we've been watching. King 9 seconds behind. But with the rest on mediums, he does have the advantage. Also, I'm going to bet money that Colin is not going to pit again. I'm willing to put money on that. But no, if you take me off my bet, then maybe I might. Anyway, Shadow Wrestling going wide. Bazooka Joe will be in DRS range again. 0.6 seconds. It's brilliant for him. Bazooka Joe has this to, he has the DRS. He can now get even closer to Shadow, put even more pressure on him, make him strain his tyres more. Shadow can be pressured to the point where he has to pit, otherwise he is going to blow his tyres to smithereens. Anyway, T-Funky 2 seconds now behind Swanee. King already down to 7.6 seconds behind Cobalt. It is amazing what drivers can do here. Anyway, Anton. Oh, he is behind Rai. Fun. Bazooka Joe doesn't actually have DRS for this straight. Yikes. What Bazooka Joe needs is just a lap of pure, use some ERS. Just use it for a lap. Keep with Shadow. And he's already got to that point already. Flex Marcel also with Willow, which means we have 2 battles from 2 different teams challenging Stray Dog Racing. Obviously, Shadow can go to the end on the softs at this point. He's taken his mediums almost 13 laps. Well, it's about to be 13 laps, unless he goes into the pits. Oh, it looked like he might have, but he chose against it. Interessante. Bazooka Joe, though, has the DRS. I don't think it's close enough to make an overtake just yet. Oh, he has done it as well. Never mind, I wasn't expecting an overtake there, but Bazooka Joe made it happen. The German Giant. Flex also close to Willow now, within a second. Wow. Just wow. Colin's recaught on Eco. And somehow Swanee has caught Colin. Wait, what? What's going on here? Hold up. How the fuck is Swanee on this? Like, even T-Funky's... What? Wow. Where? How? Why? What? Yeah, I don't think you're going to get that one, Flex. Not going to lie. Oh, he's going to try the dive. Yikes. Flex actually made that, and it still worked. I mean, fair play. And he's even got the position on Willow. Fair play. Fair fucking play. Flex is defended to the inside. May have looked like swerving there, so if Willow reports that, oh, we may have to see it. Anyway, Nico, Colin, Swanee, T-Funky, all here battling each other. 3 teams here. I don't know if all 4 teams are here in this fight. Shadow into the pits. But yeah, all 4 teams fighting for 8th position now. One man on 17 lap hold mediums. Oh, and Swanee's been bumped by T-Funky. Hopefully that's not wing damage. But T-Funky pushing for that position. I really don't think that was fair. So we'll have to wait and see what the stewards have to say as T-Funky's got past Colin. That one was fair, I can tell you that. Shadow gets out in front of Nico, in front of this whole big battle. Swanee lets Colin take the corner, obviously. He doesn't really want to fight Colin when Colin's not on the best line. Well, the best line for an overtake. As King has closed in on Cobalt, but Cobalt's doing pretty well for himself so far. He's got back onto this battle. And T-Funky close to Nico. But I don't think he'll be able to make the move down this DRS straight. No, he won't. Colin not going to try and move on Swanee, but now that Cobalt's here, I feel bad for Colin. I really do. T-Funky, 4 tenths off Nico. 5 laps left to go. Actually, I think that's 4. Oh no, it's not 5. 6. 6 laps left to go for them. The top 4 have all crossed the finish line, I believe. I actually meant that the top 6. As T-Funky will put pressure on Nico here for a while. Colin still not pitting. Jesus, Colin. Man needs to take a break. T-Funky's going to go for the move. It's a dive and a half. Nico's gone wide. Cobalt has got past Colin here. So not good for Drive Forest Drive. However, Flex is still on the hunt. He can smell Bazooka Joe in front of him. Anyway, going back to Colin and his battle here. But Cobalt using Swanee just for DRS to get away. Obviously, you don't want to be, down here where your teammates are in front of you, really holding you up. You want to be away from any other driver who can cause you mayhem. These guys need to escape from Colin. That is the big must here. They must escape Colin. No offence, Colin. Colin's a nice guy. It's just the fact that, as a team, they need to run away. Need to get away. And not make contact with each other. Just a friendly reminder. Don't think Shadow's going to get fastest lap here as Willow gets a time penalty. And no, it was not fastest lap. Unfortunately for them. But King has closed in on Colin again. Cobalt also close to Swanee and Nico. Again, unlike a normal F1 race, points for every position. So Swanee and Cobalt really do want to get on Nico, and the 2 no assist drivers overtaking each other here. Swanee with a massive inside line. Oh, Nico really giving the shit there. But he's got the DRS. Swanee does not. I'm sorry, Cobalt does not. Oh, Cobalt's in the fucking shit here. Can Nico get both of these positions back? Oh, he's tried the dive. And Cobalt somehow made it alive. Looking at this from Colin's perspective, it is a yikes moment indeed. Nico, Cobalt and Swanee all fighting in a line. All three of these guys at the moment in the party with me, along with Deadwood Bear. And this is just a yikes. A big yikes. But that's more points away from career enders, so these two will be happy. You don't want career enders to be up there. Unless you're part of career enders. Speaking of the career enders team, you don't actually see too many blue liveries here today. I mean, to be fair, they're missing two drivers, just like Cobalt. In fact, Deadwood Bear with all of his drivers in Straight Dog Racing, and Drive Forest Drive without two as well. Without two. So really, Straight Dog Racing has a massive advantage here, and they could get into the lead. Anyway, Nico just trying to close in. Swanee, I don't know what happened to him, but has ended up behind Colin now, which means he could be pressured by King. Shallow Britain has closed that gap on Willow down considerably. However, I don't think it will be enough. With only a few laps left to go. Right with a 3-second penalty again. And Nico on Cobalt. The leaders have closed in on each other ever so slightly. Splinter keeping that gap nice and compact. Bazooka Joe, 3 seconds behind Deadwood Bear. It's been like this for a while now. Flex though, gaining on Bazooka Joe. Let's see, Nico has no DRS here. Neither does Colin. Neither does Swanee, in fact. How is Colin? I don't know, Colin does this. He just takes tyres however long he wants. Like, he's like, softs? Yeah, they can go 20 laps on any track. Mediums, 40 laps. Hards, infinite laps. Intermediates, like infinite +1. Wets, 7. That sums up Colin. I'm sorry, Colin, if you're offended, but I've just summed you up. So there. Yeah. Oh, dive bomb. No. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Swanee ruined my hopes of a dive bomb. Now, just want to have a quick flick through the field there. See what's going on. Anyway, Swanee close to Colin. We have to wait for the main straight to get to the DRS. So DRS is one of the main things to help with overtakes here. And you can do it without. And you definitely can do it without. However, it's normally better to try it with. Just know from experience. Oh, and, well, I think Swanee's got that move. Only just, you know. I think it was a very hard call. But I think Swanee just got that move. Anyway, King here could actually get past both Colin and Swanee on the same straight. If he can, you know, nab Colin quite early, it's only a 7th, 10th gap. It's possible. Both of them have DRS. Both of them are going to be gaining speed. a considerable amount of it as well. Colin's not defending this one though. Obviously, the man on the softs probably the faster guy. Sorry, he's on softs. But in that overtake didn't lose him any time to Swanee. In fact, it gained him a 10th. So King can make a move here and could really put himself and the rest of Drive Forest Drive on the upper foot. Obviously, American Dream in second at the moment. Let's not forget that. As we have entered the last lap of the race and Flex Marcel is close to Bazooka Joe. Dun, dun, dun. I mean, I don't know why we're shocked. Oh, Willow, that wasn't the track, mate. Was that Willow? I think that was Rai. Never mind. Either way, it wasn't the track. Anton, though, about to come and cross to the start-finish line. He's had a pretty good race, have to say. Been leading it from the start. And it's another 21 pointer for him. Unless he gets fastest lap here at his dying breath. No, it's a 5-second time penalty. That's what he gets. That's a big oof. Poor Anton. Splinter will take second though, due to that 5-second time penalty. Flex close to Bazooka Joe. I don't think he'll be able to gain anything here. But Deadwood Bear takes third. Oh no, fourth in fact, as Bazooka Joe gets the jump on him. Willow will take sixth due to an unserved penalty. Shadow Brisson looks like he will be coming home in 7th position. It could have been 6th as well for Shadow. T-Funky will come home for 8th as Rai takes 14th. Cobalt in 9th. And there's been a yellow flag. Oh no, who's that? Oh, it's Colin. Oh, Colin. Nico 10th. Swanee 11th. Nico only just 10th though, due to a Cobalt penalty. And King in 12th. Colin, unfortunately for him, in 13th. Colin, just cut the last corner, man. Do it. Cut 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 it. Cut. 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 Oh. Do some donuts, Colin. Oh. Oh, it started raining as well. Peak. Anyway. Colin takes 13th. We have our 3 winners. Well, our 3 podium guys. Anton Bennett on the podium again. Joined by Bazooka Joe and Deadwood Bear from... Oh no, sorry, Splinter and Bazooka Joe. Splinter only just losing out there. Bazooka Joe in 3rd, Deadwood Bear 4th, Flex 5th, Willow 6th, Shadow Brisson 7th, T-Funky 8th, Cobalt 9th, Nico 10th, Swanee 11th, King at 12th, Colin 13th, and Rai in at 14th. Anyway, that's been your race today. I'll see you next week.